بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على خير خلقه أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد صلى الله عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله، صلى الله عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي يا ابن رسول الله، يا رحمة الله الواسعة ويا باب نجاة الأمة ويا عبرة كل مؤمن ومؤمنة، يا ليتنا كنا معكم، يا ليتنا كنا معكم سادتي فنفوز فوزا عظيما. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. فبشر عبادي الذين يستمعون القول فيتبعون أحسنه. عطروا أفواهكم بذكر الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد. الثاني على حب الحسن والحسين. الثالث على حب الزهراء بأعلى أصواتكم. There are two very important rules that we always have to keep in mind. One is that anyone can have something meaningful to say from time to time. Even someone who's insane, even a mushrik, a polytheist, even a hypocrite can sometimes have something meaningful to say. A word of wisdom. This is possible. This is not something impossible. The hadith says, خذ الحكمة ولو من المشرك أو خذ الحكمة من المشرك. If there is a polytheist, a pagan, who has something meaningful to say, a wise word to say, take it. Even if this person is a mushrik, even if the person is a hypocrite, but has a piece of wisdom to say, take it. The hadith says, خذ الحكمة أنّا كانت. Take a piece of wisdom wherever you find it. فإن الحكمة تكون في صدر المنافق فتلجلج في صدره. Maybe a word of wisdom will be found in the chest and the heart of a hypocrite. But this word of wisdom will find its way out. فتلجلج في صدره حتى تخرج فتسكن إلى صواحبها في صدر المؤمن. This word of wisdom will find its way out from the chest of the hypocrite to come towards the mu'min. So take it. because he's a hypocrite, it doesn't mean that he has nothing meaningful to say. No, maybe once in a while he does. Take that word of wisdom. Benefit from it. Maybe the hypocrite, the mushrik, does not benefit from the wisdom that he holds in his chest, but you will benefit. Take it from him. Al-hikmatu dhallatul mu'min. Wisdom is something that a mu'min should be after all the time. Wherever you can find a piece of wisdom, take it. From a Muslim or a non-Muslim. From a mushrik, from a kafir, from a Christian, from a Jew, online, on social media, in a classroom, at a gym. If it's wisdom, if it's something meaningful, take it. There's no reason to cancel someone out completely and say that this person has nothing to offer me. Me, I'm a Muslim, I'm a mu'min, I'm a follower of Ahlul Bayt. What can possibly this person have to offer? No, you never know. Maybe you'll learn a thing or two from someone. It is a mistake to cancel a person out completely because they are different from you in race, in nationality, in religion. Don't ever say that I will never listen to the speaker because he's not my type. Why? Maybe you will learn something. Once in a blue moon, you might learn a piece of wisdom, a piece of information, a piece of knowledge. Never cancel someone out because of whims, because this person does not conform to your personal taste, or doesn't come from your background or nationality or race or religion. This is the first rule. A second rule is that a person, no matter how wise this person can be, maybe they will slip one day. Maybe something unwise will be uttered by them one day. You could be the wisest person on earth, but maybe you will slip because you're a human being. You're not a ma'soom, you're not infallible. The infallible are the prophets and the imams. The rest are not infallible. You could be the greatest scholar of your time, but you can slip. So don't be shocked if your favorite speaker or your scholar or the person you follow, you emulate, or anyone, your idol, a person that you follow, slips, makes a mistake. Don't be shocked. Why? Because this is normal. It's normal for a person who could be the wisest person on earth, but will slip, will say something unmeaningful. And that should be forgiven. The hadith tell us that slip should be forgiven. We should not emphasize on this slip. Look at this scholar. Did you hear what the scholar said? What a big mistake he made. Yes, he will make a mistake. Not one mistake. 2 mistakes. 10 mistakes. 20 mistakes. Why? Because he's not infallible. He's not a ma'soom. Don't be shocked if someone slips, because this is normal. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi has a very beautiful hadith. He says, غريبتان كلمة حكم من سفيه فاقبلوها وكلمة سفه من حكيم فاغفروها. He says 2 things are rare, but they will happen. If a person who is unwise but says something wise, take it from him. Just because he is not wise the rest of the time, it doesn't mean you should eradicate the wisdom that he has to offer once in a blue moon. Maybe once a year, he might say something wise. Take it. Accept it. Even if this person is not wise. Even if this person is from a different race, from a different religion, from a different school of thought, take it. وَكَلِمَةُ سَفَهٍ مِّنْ حَكِيمٍ فَاغْفِرُوهَا. And a word, an unwise word from someone wise, forgive it. Don't emphasize on it. Don't exaggerate it. Don't blow it up and say that this person slipped. This person made an awful mistake. No, forgive it. فَاغْفِرُوهَا. Unfortunately, in our communities, we don't forgive. If someone slips, a scholar or a speaker or someone reputable and respectful, they slip, we exaggerate. We make it a big deal, as if it's the day of judgment. No, this person is not infallible. So it's very normal for him or her to slip. The lesson, my dear brothers and sisters, is that we need to be critical thinkers. Don't take anything for face value. Whatever you hear from a scholar, from a speaker, online, from people on social media, from social media influencers, from friends, from scholars, from teachers, be in the habit of critically thinking, critically analyzing over what you heard. Is this correct? Does this make sense? Is this logical? Should I accept what this person is saying? Does it conform to the Quran and the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam or not? Look at what the Quran says. فَبَشِّرْ عِبَادِ الَّذِينَ يَسْتَمِعُونَ الْقَوْلَ فَيَتَّبِعُونَ أَحْسَنَهُ. A true mu'min keeps an open mind, does not cancel anyone out. No, you keep an open mind to all speakers, to all scholars. Keep an open mind, critically assess, critically analyze, and ponder and think over what this person is saying, and then choose the best. Choose from the best of what is being said. Choose the wisest of what is being said, regardless of who is saying it. We have a hadith that say, لا تنظر إلى من قال ولكن انظر إلى ما قيل. Don't see who is saying it. Rather see what is being said. We have a tendency that we pick and choose based on our affiliations. Of this scholar, of this influencer, of this speaker, he pertains to my country, my nationality, my school of thought, I will listen to everything that he says. But if he doesn't, then I will cancel him altogether. This is incorrect. Don't look at who is speaking. Rather look at what is being said. الَّذِينَ يَسْتَمِعُونَ الْقَوْلَ فَيَتَّبِعُونَ أَحْسَنَهُ. Keep an open mind. Listen, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has gave us minds. He's given us logic. We can logically assess and think, critically think. At the same time, don't take everything for face value. There is no one other than the ma'soomeen, other than the prophets and the imams, that speaks 100 pure truth. You can't say about anyone that this person, I will take everything that they say for face value. No. Then why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you a mind? Why did He give us the ability to reason, to think? Don't take everything for face value. Nor don't reject everything as well. Think, analyze, critically think and assess. Musa alayhi salam, Al-Masih alayhi salam, Isa al-Masih alayhi salam has a beautiful hadith. He says, خذوا الحق من أهل الباطل ولا تأخذوا الباطل من أهل الحق. Take the truth from people of falsehood, but do not take false from the people of the truth. If someone from falsehood says something true, take it. But don't take anything false from the people of the truth. And then he says, كونوا نقاد الكلام. كونوا نقاد الكلام. Critically assess what you hear. Unfortunately, we live in a world, we live in a time when everything has become smart. Our TVs are smart, our phones are smart, our cars are smart. Everything is smart except us. We're becoming dumber. We human beings, we're becoming dumber because we rely on these gadgets. Previously, we used to multiply, subtract, divide. We used to perform addition. Now we have our calculators on our phones. We used to know how to discover the Qibla. Now we have apps for that. We used to memorize phone numbers. Now we have our phone. Our gadgets are becoming smarter every day, but we're becoming dumber every day. And unfortunately, we hear all types of news on WhatsApp, on Facebook, all sorts of crazy news, fake news, and we share. Immediately we share. Hold on a second. Do you know what this post is about? Did you fact check? Did you see what this post, is it true? Is it false? Who is sending it? And you're sharing it to thousands of others. Why? Did you think about it? Did you think over this post or this message that was sent to you that doesn't make sense? Did you think about it before forwarding it to others? We don't, unfortunately. We don't analyze. We don't critically think. كونوا نقاد الكلام. Isa says, be critical thinkers. Today, my dear friends, we are in need of critically thinking. To think over what we hear, over a lecture that we hear, over a post that we read, over a YouTube video that we see. Critically analyze and assess what is being said. Should I accept these words? Should I accept this lecture? Should I accept the message that is being portrayed to me? Or no? This is very important. Thus, I reiterate, my dear friends, there's no need to cancel anyone out, because every once in a while, anyone can have something meaningful to say. And at the same time, you don't have to take everything for face value. Critically analyze. Give people a chance. Give people a chance. Maybe someone you don't like on social media, but maybe they have something meaningful to say. Give them a chance and maybe you will learn something. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Also, my dear friends, there is something very important. There's also something very, very important. When we listen to someone, we are lending them our brain. When you sit and listen to a lecture for 1 hour, you're lending your brain, your mind to that person. This is a great responsibility. What you're doing, in fact, there's a hadith that I will read to you. There's a hadith that says, من استمع إلى ناطق فقد عبده فإن كان يؤدي عن الله فقد عبد الله وإن كان يؤدي عن الشيطان فقد عبد الشيطان. When you listen to someone, you are worshiping that person. You're giving them your full attention, your mind, for 1 hour. If this person is preaching to you about God, then you are worshiping God. But if this person is preaching about shaitan, then you are actually worshiping shaitan. You have to be careful who you listen to and who you're giving your mind to. The verse says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, فَلْيَنظُرِ الْإِنسَانُ إِلَىٰ طَعَامِهِ. Al-Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam, he explains to us this verse. He says, فَلْيَنظُرِ الْإِنسَانُ إِلَىٰ طَعَامِهِ. Let a person look at his nourishment, his food. Food is of 2 types. One type of food is bodily nourishment, the food that we need to survive. My body needs to survive. And there's another food, it's not a bodily nourishment, it's a intellectual nourishment. It's food for the brain. It's food for the mind. فَلْيَنظُرِ الْإِنسَانُ إِلَىٰ طَعَامِهِ. Al-Imam al-Baqir says, فَلْيَنظُرِ الْإِنسَانُ إِلَىٰ عِلْمِهِ مِمَّنْ يَأْخُذُهُ عَمَّنْ يَأْخُذُ. Look at the knowledge that you put in your mind. Who are you taking your knowledge from? Your facts, what you're learning. Who are you allowing to influence you, to have an impact on your life? You have to be careful. This is your life. This is your future. Don't let any Joe Schmo influence you and put in thoughts and ideas in your mind and then affect your life, affect your social life, affect your intellectual life. The first thing to ask about any person that you lend your mind to and you listen to on YouTube, on social media, at the mosque, in a masjid, on college. Number 1, what is this person's educational level? What does this person know? How much has this person studied? Has this person gone to college, university? Has this person gone to Hawza or not? You know, unfortunately, my dear brothers and sisters, today there's a new phenomena, not just today, but it's been happening for the past couple of years. This mimbar is very holy. There's a sanctity to this mimbar. Unfortunately, we see people that are not qualified, educationally not qualified. They haven't set their foot in Hawza. They haven't studied the proper Hawza curriculum, nor have they gotten a academic education. They haven't gone to college, they haven't graduated from university, but they take to the mimbar, and thousands of people sit underneath their mimbar and they listen to them. A lot of them are motivational speakers, but do they have the qualifications to go up on the mimbar? This is very dangerous, my dear friends. This is very dangerous. Who we allow to impact our youth and our communities. So the first question you have to ask is, what does this person know? What is their academic level, intellectual level, educational level. This is one. Number two, does this person suffer from any mental illness, depression, schizophrenia, OCD? There's a lot of people, a lot of social media influencers, you see them, they're suffering from some sort of issue, some sort of mental illness. Not that this is a taboo or that it's something to shy away from. No, but sometimes these illnesses, they have an impact on what the person says. And ultimately, they will have an impact on the youth, on who they're delivering their message to. You have to ask, where does this person come from? Mental health-wise, does this person suffer from schizophrenia, for example, depression, bipolar disorder? Or is this person completely okay? Also, my dear friends, any person that you listen to, you have to ask a third question. Is this person after fame and popularity? There are a lot of people on social media, there are a lot of people in this world, they're after fame. And they're getting a lot of attention. And they enjoy that attention. They're after the likes and the views and the hits. So they'll say all sorts of things for popularity. Maybe they won't speak the truth, because sometimes speaking the truth won't get you any popularity. It won't get you any fame. But saying what pleases people, what people want to hear, that gets you very popular. When you tell young men what they like to hear, what they want to listen to, that makes you popular. That will get you fame. You have to be very careful. The speaker that I'm listening to, the scholar that I'm listening to, the social media influencer that I'm listening to, is this person out for fame and money and popularity? Then I have to be very careful, because I question this person's sincerity. They're like politicians. They won't tell you the truth. They only tell you the things that you want to hear, not the things that you should hear. And there's a big difference between what you want to hear and what you should hear. There's a major problem, my dear friends, today in the world of social media, here in the West, something that is affecting a lot of our youth, and especially our young men. There's confusion between masculinity and misogyny. There are some social media influencers that are selling the idea of masculinity, how to be a man, how to be a tough man. But there's a thin line between masculinity and misogyny. And there's a lot of young men that have it confused. The idea that is being sold is actually misogyny, but in the name of masculinity. How to be a real man. So the idea is, you want to be a real man? You have to act like it. How do you treat your woman? You have to be tough. You have to run the house. Are you a man that runs the house or runs around the house? You have to run the house. You don't take orders from anyone. Your wife, she's not supposed to be heard. You don't take advice from your wife. She's responsible of doing the chores, cooking, cleaning, washing the dishes, changing diapers. This is the job of a woman. You have to be a man. You run the show. You call the shots in the house. Now, for a lot of young men, this seems like what? Masculinity. This is what a real man is about. This is being masculine. But it's actually misogyny. It's actually misogyny. It's being misogynistic. It's hatred for women being sold in the name of masculinity. Let me tell you something. Who is the most masculine man in the history of the world? Who? Not Imam Ali. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi was the most masculine man ever. Imam Ali alayhi salam, some of you said Imam Ali. Imam Ali, who we don't doubt his masculinity, his bravery, his courage, in the face of the enemies in the battleground, he says, Amir al-Mu'mineen says, كنا إذا حمي الوطيس نلوذ برسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. He says, at times of roughness, at times of difficulty in the battlefield, all of us, the Sahaba, we'd come and stand behind Rasulullah. We'd put Rasulullah in the front. We'd come and stand behind him. You stand behind who? The toughest warrior. Rasulullah was the toughest warrior. He was the commander, and he was the toughest warrior in his own army. Amir al-Mu'mineen, the bravest, the most courageous, he says, I would come and stand behind Rasulullah. I would seek protection from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. No doubt Rasulullah was the most masculine man. But ask him, how are you at home? How are you with your wives, with your daughters? He would say, خيركم لأهله وأنا خيركم لأهله. The best of you is the best at home with their family, with your wife, with your children, with your daughters. The best of you is the best with his wife and kids. How does he treat his wife? Demeaning, in disrespect, by name calling, being abusive, verbally and physically? Or no, helping his wife at home, being there with his wife, being there for his family, being there, available, emotionally, physically, being available at home. خيركم لأهله وأنا خيركم لأهله. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam had a companion by the name of Sa'd ibn Mu'adh, غسيل الملائكة. Sa'd ibn Mu'adh was one of the companions of Rasulullah. It was the night of his wedding, the eve of his wedding. He went to see his wife. He spent the night with his wife. The next morning, he got up. They called for jihad. Sa'd immediately went for jihad. Sa'd was in the state of janaba. He went for jihad, and he died on the battlefield. And when he died, Rasulullah says, Sa'd ghasilul malaika. The angels performed his ghusl al-janaba. They washed him. He died in the battle as a mujahid. They brought his body along with others. He was buried in Al-Baqi'. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he supervised over his burial. He saw his burial. He buried him with his own hands. When he came out, his mother was standing on top of his grave. She said, "Hani'an lakal jannah ya Sa'd." Congratulations, ya Sa'd, for entering paradise immediately. Rasulullah, he said, "Mahani ya Sa'd." Hold on. Don't rush. Who told you that your son is in heaven right away? Ajib. But ya Rasulullah, didn't you wash him and shroud him and bury him and stand over his grave? Aren't these signs that my son is immediately in heaven? He said, no. مهن يا سعد فقد ضمه القبر ضمة التقت أضلاعه. The grave has squished him so much that his ribs from the two sides have met. She said, why, Ya Rasulullah? Why? My son who died in the battlefield, this is what has happened to him? He said, yes. Why? He said, كان سيء الخلق لأهله. He had a bad temper with his family. He had a bad temper with his wife. You see some men, they come to the mosque, they're very nice, they're very kind with their friends, they shake their hands. You see them in the mosque, you say, he's an angel. But he goes at home, he's a shaitan at home. He's an angel with everyone, but with his wife, he's a shaitan. His akhlaq, his temper, when he's hungry, when he's angry, when he's hangry, if you will, when he wants something right away, he becomes a shaitan. This is not masculine, my dear friends. There's nothing masculine about mistreating your wife or calling the shots at home. This is not the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If we are true followers of Rasulullah and Ahlul Bayt, this is not the seerah of Ahlul Bayt. This is not the seerah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Masculinity means to take care of your family, to take care of your wife, to take care of the woman in your family. Be a caretaker for them. Be a provider for them. To show them love and support and to take care of them and to provide for them. This is being masculine. And this is what the Quran says. الرجال قوامون على النساء. Now you'll have some people, they say, yeah, الرجال قوامون على النساء. That means men are in charge of women. That means men can do whatever they want. They call the shots at home. That's what it means. No, that's not what it means. قوام means قائم. It's from قائم. What does قائم mean? القائم بالمسجد أو على المسجد. What does that mean? The caretaker of a masjid is called al-qa'im ala al-masjid. Someone who takes care of a building, makes sure that it's clean, makes sure that the mosque is clean, it's tidy, maybe raises funds for the mosque, paints the mosque, looks after the mosque. This person is called al-qa'im ala al-masjid. Al-rijalu qawwamuna ala al-nisa. What does that mean? It means that men are caretakers of women. They are providers of women. They look after women. This is what it means. Men are caretakers, and that is masculinity. Masculinity is when you go out of your way to make sure that the women in your life, they're happy, they're safe, they're protected, they're secure, they're well provided for. This is masculinity. My dear friends, in the past several years, an individual has risen in social media. Everyone has heard of him, especially the young brothers, by the name of Andrew Tate. This individual has become so popular and so influential that they're calling it Tateology or Tateism. The amount of influence that he has on our young brothers and sisters, even from the Muslim community, even from the Shia community. Now, this person became a star overnight, mostly for saying misogynistic things. He acts like a man, holds a cigar, uses vulgar words, vulgar language. His language is very vulgar, very demeaning, very disrespectful. Yes, maybe time to time he might say something wise, as I said in the beginning. Everyone has something meaningful to say from time to time. But this individual is very disrespectful towards women, very demeaning, very misogynistic. He's known for his Hustler University. And from this popularity and fame that he's gained, he's making millions of pounds. Now, because of his demeanor, he's been to jail. He recently, if I'm not mistaken, he came out of jail. And there's no shock, there's no surprise that a person like Tate goes to jail because of his behavior and because of his attitude towards women. Now, he said a lot of crazy things. He said a lot. And the problem is when our youth take everything that he has to say for granted. And it's if this is truth. And he's become a role model for so many. This individual has become a role model. They take him as someone to be emulated. Now, among the things that he says is that women belong at home and they can't drive. They don't know how to drive. First of all, I don't think anyone sane would say this in this day and age. Today, especially in the West, many families, they need two salaries. The husband has to work and the wife has to work in order to make ends meet, to pay off your mortgage, to pay off your credit card bills. A lot of families in the West, both the husband and the wife, they have to work. Does Islam forbid women from working? No, absolutely not. There's a hadith by Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. He says there was Zainab al-Attara at the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There was a lady by the name of Zainab. She owned a shop that sells perfumes. One day she came to the house of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasulullah, when Zainab entered the house, he told her إذا أتيتنا طابت بيوتنا. When you come to our homes smell good. Because she works in a perfume shop. When you come to our homes smell good. She said, Ya Rasulullah, buyutuka birihika atyab, Ya Rasulullah. Your homes smell good because of you, Ya Rasulullah. Not because of me, not because I come to your home. They smell good because of you. And by the way, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, most of you know this, one of the things that he would spend money on was perfume and cologne. And he would always smell good. And he would spend money on perfume and cologne. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he told her, إِذَا بِعْتِ فَأَحْسِنِي وَلَا تُغُشِّي. If you sell, don't fool anyone. Don't cheat anyone. Sell authentically. That means that at the time of Rasulullah, there were women that were shop owners. They had shops, they would buy, they would sell. Women were working from the days of Rasulullah. Rasulullah did not tell women, sit at home and don't work, don't make a living. No. Women worked from that time. Islam does not forbid women from working. To say that women belong at home and they shouldn't leave, this is wrong. What would he say about men that are working from home nowadays? After COVID, there are a lot of men that are working from home. What would one say? These men are not masculine? Just because they work out from home, they're not masculine? This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. And to say that women can't drive, this is also unfair. If there's a lot of women that can't drive, there's a lot of men that can't drive either. And who causes most of the accidents on the freeways and on the streets? Is it men or women? Look at statistics. Usually it's men that are causing accidents. Either in racing, young men racing on the freeways and in streets, they're causing most of the accidents, not women. Andrew Tate speaks of hitting and choking and physically abusing women, and that's part of masculinity. Now this is ridiculous. For this to become the norm, to hit and to choke and to be physically abusive of your partner, of your life partner, this is unheard of. This is ridiculous. This is physical abuse that is untolerated and should never be tolerated, because physical abuse has absolutely no justification. You might say, but Sayyidina, don't we have in the Holy Quran, وَضْرِبُوهُنْ? We have a verse in the Quran that says, beat them. وَلَاتِ تَخَافُونَ نُشُوزَهُنَّ فَعُضُوهُنَّ وَهْجُرُوهُنَّ فِي الْمَضَاجِعِ وَضْرِبُوهُنْ. The Quran says you may beat your wife. Ajib. You left 6,665 verses in the Quran, but you've memorized وَضْرِبُوهُنْ. This is the only verse that you want to implement. The Quran has so many verses. You don't go and implement the rest of the verses in the Quran. You want to implement this verse that says وَضْرِبُوهُنْ, that you can be physically abusive to your wife. It reminds me of the men who marry a second wife, and when you ask them why, they say the Quran says. فَانْكِحُوا مَا طَابَ لَكُم مِّنَ النِّسَاءِ مَثْنَى وَثُلَاثَ وَرُبَاعَ. Some men are experts. This is the verse that they've memorized. They neglect all the other verses in the Holy Quran, but they remember this verse that says you can marry 2 or 3 or 4 verses. First of all, the verse that says, the wife beating verse, do we even know what it means before we throw it out? Do we know what it means? Who is it speaking about? Could it be possibly speaking about an adulteress, someone who has committed adultery? Also, is the verse general for all times and all places? And then hit them with what? There are some narrations that say use a miswak to come and justify physical abuse of women through a verse. This is a mistake, especially if you have misunderstood the verse. One of the things that Andrew Tate promotes and encourages is name calling of women. If she accuses you of cheating, of having another partner, you can name call her, demean her, you could disrespect her, put her in her position. She should know where she belongs. This has nothing to do with Islam. This completely negates the message of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the message of the Imams. Rasulullah had wives that were disrespectful to him. Bring me one instance, one example that Rasulullah stooped to their level, or Rasulullah name called any of his wives, or he was physically abusive to any of his wives. Who? Which one? When did Rasulullah ever use physical aggression against any of his wives, or he name called them? Nor any of the other imams. Our imams, some of them, they had abusive wives. Some of them had terrible wives, like Imam al-Hasan and Imam al-Jawad. But we don't see any instance in which Imam al-Hasan was abusive, verbally or physically. And also in the case of Imam al-Jawad. On the contrary, Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, he was asked, ما حق المرأة على زوجها الذي إذا فعله كان محسنا. What is the right of a wife over her husband? What right does a wife have? He says, Imam Sadiq says, يشبعها ويكسوها وإن جهلت غفر لها. If she makes a mistake, he forgives. This is the right of your wife. That if she commits a mistake, at the end of the day, she's human. She's not infallible. We too are non-infallibles. Men also make mistakes. They make a lot of mistakes. Husbands make a lot of mistakes. The same way a husband expects his wife to forgive him when he makes a mistake, you have to forgive her when she makes a mistake. This is a right that she has. And then Al-Imam As-Sadiq alayhi salam, he says, كانت امرأة عند أبي تؤذيه فيغفر لها. He says, my father, Al-Imam Al-Baqir, had a wife that would always hurt him. كانت تؤذيه. That means all the time. She would hurt him. Yet he would always forgive her. فكان يغفر لها. My dear friends, my dear youth, we should not mix and confuse masculinity with misogyny. Because what is being preached today by this individual and others on social media, it's misogyny. It's not masculinity. If we want real masculinity, we should learn it from the Ahlul Bayt, from Rasulullah, from the Imams, who were never abusive, not verbally and not physically. Never. One of the things that this individual says is that women bear responsibility for being raped. If a woman gets raped, it's her responsibility. It's her fault. Now this is insane. This is insane. Rape has absolutely no justification. Absolutely no justification. You have to be very sick in the head to ever perform such a heinous crime. No matter what the female is dressed. Whatever she's dressed, whatever she's wearing. Of course, this is not an invitation for women to dress whatever they'd like. No. If a woman dresses improperly, this says a lot about her character and a lot about her personality. However, no matter what she's wearing, it's never an invitation. It is never an invitation for such a heinous crime. A person who performs this crime is an animal. Nothing more, nothing less. This person is an animal. To come and say that a woman that gets raped, it's her fault. It must have been something that she did. It must have been something that she wore. This is insane. Only an animal would say something like this. One of the things that he says is that women should be loyal wives and loyal, loving mothers and loyal wives. Yes, this is true. Women should be loving mothers and loyal wives. But what about husbands? What about men? Shouldn't be loving husbands and loyal husbands as well? Shouldn't it work both ways? Why the emphasis on the wife of being a loving mother and a loyal wife, but not on the husband of being a loving husband and a loyal husband? And also, when you say that women should be loving mothers and loyal wives, that means that's it? They have no capability of being something else? Women can't become teachers and doctors and engineers and they can't have professional careers? I don't think that this person, when saying things like this, has any other justification other than misogyny. Now, my dear friends, why is this individual so popular? At this day and age, someone who can say crazy things like this and get away with it and become so popular and influential with youth. How? What's the secret? My personal analysis is that this person came at a time after the Me Too movement. The Me Too movement. Now there's extremists on both sides. The Me Too movement that came and took the world by storm, it caused a backlash for some young men. They were afraid of perhaps saying hello to the opposite gender. They were afraid of being accused of harassment or accused of, anything else. It created a backlash. And perhaps because of this backlash, a person like Tate can come and say these crazy things and not be held responsible for it. Our role models, my dear friends, are the Ahlul Bayt. We don't need to go anywhere else. A true role model has a successful family life. Before following anyone and taking anyone as a role model, as an idol, we have to ask, does this person have a successful family life? Does this person have a wife and kids? Is his family successful? Is his family life successful? Who am I emulating? Someone who has a failed family life, who is a failure on all aspects. How can this person be a role model for me or for my kids or the youth today? Your role model has to have a successful family life. Someone that could be emulated. Someone that could be followed. Someone who was successful. And that is the Ahlul Bayt, my dear friends. The Ahlul Bayt, we don't need to search anywhere else. The Ahlul Bayt teach us, كلما زاد المؤمن إيمانا زاد حبا للنساء. Whenever a mu'min increases in faith and iman, his love for women increases. Now this hadith is misunderstood. Some assume that a person's love for women increases. That means it's lust, desire. He should marry more than one wife. This is how they translate love. This is not what it means. The more a person's faith increases, his appreciation of women increases. Why? We have to understand the context. Before Islam, women were disliked. They were hated. وَإِذَا بُشِّرَ أَحَدُهُمْ بِالْأُنْثَى ظَلَّ وَجْهُهُ مُسْوَدًّا وَهُوَ كَظِيمٌ. If a man was given news that your wife gave child to a girl, this person will be embarrassed, angry, disappointed. And that's why they had infanticide. They would bury their newborn girls alive because it was a shame that they wanted to get rid of. Islam came and says, زَادَ حُبًّا لِلنِّسَاءِ. If you're a true mu'min, you will love your wife. You will love your daughters. You will not favor your boys over your daughters. You will not favor your sons over your daughters. When Allah gives you a daughter, you are equally happy when Allah gives you a son. You should not be secretly wishing that your wife gives birth to a son rather than a daughter. No, this is not part of faith. This is not a true mu'min. A true mu'min does not differentiate between a boy and a girl, a son and a daughter. This is what we learn from the Ahlul Bayt. This is what we learn from Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Imam Hussein, his love for his wife Ar-Rabab. This is a point that became a point of attraction for poets. They wrote about his love for his wife Ar-Rabab and his daughter Sukayna. And Imam Hussein alayhi salam, he himself says regarding his wife Ar-Rabab and his daughter Sukayna, he says, لَعَمْرُكَ إِنَّنِي لَأُحِبُّ دَارًا تَحَلُّ بَهَا سُكَيْنَةُ وَالرَّبَابُ أُحِبُّهُمَا وَأَبْذُلُ جُلَّ مَالِي وَلَيْسَ بِلَائِمِي فِيهَا عِتَابُ. I love them and I show my love to them and I spend my wealth on them, and no one can show their disappointment for my love for my wife and for my daughter. This is what we learn from the Ahlul Bayt. Respect for women, honor for women, dignity for women, love for women, the women in your lives. This is what we learn. The relationship between Imam al-Hussein and his sister Zainab. This incredible relationship. Incredible relationship between a brother and a sister. A relationship full of love and respect and compassion and dignity and sacrifice. One day, Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam comes to the house of the Sayyidah Zainab in Medina. He sees her sleeping in the sun. In the scorching sun of Medina, she's sleeping. Imam al-Hussein could not stand to see his sister sleeping in the sun. So he came and he stood on top to create a shade for his sister to sleep in peace, so that his sister does not sleep in the sun. When Sayyidah Zainab woke up, she saw that her brother is standing, creating a shade for her from the sun. She thought to herself, I need to repay my brother for this beautiful gesture of allowing me to sleep. What a beautiful gesture, not allowing the sun to hit me while I'm sleeping. I need to return the favor. But when was that day for Sayyidah Zainab to return the favor to her brother, Imam al-Hussein? The days passed and passed and passed until the day of Ashura, when Imam Hussein alayhi salam was lying on the battleground in the scorching sun and the scorching heat. The Imam was lying in the battleground. His sister Zainab comes from the camps, from the tents, and she comes and stands over the body of her brother Imam Hussein, causing a shade for her brother. She returned the favor many years later on the day of Ashura in Karbala. Imam Hussein alayhi salam receives the news of the death of Muawiyah, and Yazid has become the ruler. Al-Walid, the governor of Medina, calls Imam Hussein and asks for allegiance for Yazid. Imam Hussein alayhi salam, he says, Inna ahlu bayt al-nubuwa wa mawdi' al-rasala bina fatah Allah wa bina yakhtim ويزيد فاسق فاجر شارب للخمور ومثلي لا يبايع مثله. Allah has started with us, and with us He shall end. In our homes the Quran was revealed. In our homes the angels would descend. And Yazid is a drunkard, is an alcoholic, and someone like me will never give allegiance to someone like Yazid. Imam Hussein leaves the home of Al-Walid. He goes to the shrine of his grandfather Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi to bid him farewell for one last time. He comes, Assalamu alayka ya Rasulallah, Ana al-Husayn ibn Fatima, فرخك وابن فرختك وسبطك الذي خلفتني على أمتك فاشهد عليهم يا نبي الله أنهم قد خذلوني وضيعوني ولم يحفظوني وهذه شكواي إليك حتى ألقاك. The Imam says that, Ya Rasulullah, I am your grandson. I am the son of your daughter. I am the only one remaining from your family, Ya Rasulullah. But look at what your ummah has done to me. Look at how they've deceived me. Look at how they've abandoned me. Imam Hussein alayhi salam falls asleep next to the shrine of his grandfather Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. He sees his grandfather in his dream. Rasulullah approaches him with a group of angels from his right side, his left side. He comes and he approaches his grandson Imam Hussein. Habibi ya Hussein, كأني أراك عن قريب مرملا بدمائك مذبوحا بأرض كرب وبلاء وأنت بين عصابة من أمتي وأنت مع ذلك عطشان لا تروى وظمآن لا تسقى وهم مع ذلك يرجون شفاعتي لا أنالهم الله شفاعتي يوم القيامة. حبيبي يا حسين، إن أمك وأباك وأخاك مشتاقون إليك، وإن لك درجة لا تنالها إلا بالشهادة. My beloved Hussein, I can see as if You are martyred in the land of Karbala, drenched in your blood. All the while you are thirsty, not given a drop of water by my own ummah that wishes to receive my intercession. May Allah never give them my intercession. My beloved Hussein, your father, your mother, your brother, they're all waiting for you. Come and join us. However, there's a place, a special place for you in heaven that you cannot achieve except through martyrdom. Imam Hussein tells his grandfather, ضمني عندك يا جدا لا حاجة لي في الرجوع إلى الدنيا. My grandfather, take me to you in this grave. I do not wish to go back to dunya. ضمني عندك يا جداه في هذا الضريح. علني يا جد من بلوى زماني أستريح. ضاق بي يا جد من رحب الفضاء كل فسيح. فعسى طود الأسى يندك بين الدكتين. جدي صاف العيش من بعدك بالأكدار شيب. وأشاب الهم رأسي قبل إبان المشيب. فعلى من داخل القبر بكاء ونحيب. ونداء بافتجاع يا حبيبي يا حسين. أنت يا ريحانة القلب حقيق بالبلاء. إنما الدنيا أعدت لبلاء النبلاء. لكن الماضي قليل بالذي قد أقبلا. فاتخذ درعين من حزم وعزم سابغين. ستذوق الموت ظلما ظامئا في كربلاء. وستبقى في ثراها ثاويا منجدلا. وكأني بلئيم الآياس شمرا قد علايا. صدرك الطاهر يحز الودجين. Imam Hussein alayhi salam and his family, they set out from Medina. All of the women, all of the children. Imam Hussein gathers his companions and he leaves. He had a daughter by the name of Fatima. Fatima was ill. She was sick. She could not leave. Imam Hussein keeps her in Medina. Fatima begs her father, Aba Abdullah, take me with you. Don't keep me in Medina. What will I do after you? Ya Aba Abdullah. Imam Hussein would tell her, my daughter, you are ill. You are sick. You do not have the strength to travel with us. This poet, he explains to us the feelings and the emotions of this young girl, Fatima. يا بويا خذوني وياكم أسرج الخيل وحط فراشكم لو جلجل الليل. يا بويا الدار وحشة تهدم الحيل. يا بويا حسين وياكم اخذوني عقبكم يا اهلي يعمن عيوني. وحدي بهالوطن لا تخلوني عليلة والجسم ينلظم بالسم. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون، والعاقبة للمتقين. نسألك اللهم وندعوك باسمك العلي الأعظم الأعز الأجل الأكرم يا الله. اللهم لا تدع لنا ذنبا إلا غفرته، ولا هما إلا فرجته، ولا عيبا إلا سترته، ولا خوفا إلا آمنته، ولا رزقا إلا بسطته، ولا شملا إلا جمعته، ولا مرضا إلا شفيته، ولا غائبا إلا حفظته وأدنيته، ولا حاجة من حوائج الدنيا والآخرة لك فيها رضا ولنا فيها صلاح إلا قضيتها ويسرتها يا أرحم الراحمين. ولأرواح المؤمنين والمؤمنات والعلماء والشهداء نقرأ سورة الفاتحة مع الصلوات.